Hi, my name's Bisi and welcome to my channel. I just disembarked my very first cruise and I had to make a video about it. So in this video I'm going to do a very speedy rundown of everything we did day by day. So this cruise was to the Norwegian Fjords with MSC Virtuosa. We embarked from Southampton and honestly the process couldn't have been easier. My absolute favourite part about the whole thing was that you could pack as much as you like. That's not to speak of just how quick the security process and the check-in process was. And literally within minutes, we were on the ship and ready to go. As MSC is an Italian cruise line, they did have a deck 13 and that's the deck that I was on. It was a balcony cabin and we were so impressed with the amount of storage space that we had. We didn't have to have anything out on show and believe me, I did not underpack. And neither did my husband. After settling into our cabin, we went for a walk around the ship. We found ourselves at the pool and watched the sail away. Now, this looks crazy, but it really didn't feel that busy when we were there. The party itself was really good, but towards the end, we found ourselves in the Sky Lounge, which is actually a really good idea because we found it really difficult to get a seat here later in the week. After that, we took another walk, found guest services, found our restaurant that we'll be going to later that evening, which was the Opera, and it was so nice. We got sat at this beautiful table with such an amazing background. Day 2 was a full sea day and we couldn't have been luckier with the weather. We even had time to sit in a hot tub and look out at the sea and just wonder to ourselves, like, how did we get so lucky? It was such an amazing moment. The rest of the day was spent looking around the shops, looking at all the different bars, and I even got a really, really nice hot chocolate. I then spent the rest of the day getting ready for gala night, which unfortunately I didn't get much footage of, but this is the dress I wore. Day 3 was our first official stop, and it was in Haugesund, Norway. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly because it was so beautiful and I really don't want to offend anybody. We took a hop-on, hop-off bus tour, if I can say it right, which was amazing actually. It was a bit overpriced, I would say, but it took us to some places that we wouldn't have seen otherwise, I don't think. And it was a fantastic introduction to Norway and set us up perfectly for everything else that we were going to experience on the trip. Plus, I had this delicious burger, which was incredible. Day 4 was Malloy, and honestly, this was one of the biggest surprises of the whole trip. We came across so many hidden gems. Well, I suppose they're not hidden, but they were to us. I even did a bit of rock climbing, which, if anybody knows me, is not me. We saw this beautiful monument. The roads were amazing, and again, it doesn't look like it, but the weather was incredible. Now, this is the pièce de résistance. This beach was stunning. I've never seen anything like it. Certainly not outside of the Caribbean. Just look at that beautiful white sand. We got to enjoy this for quite a while, but then it was back to the ship for tropical night. And this was unexpected, to say the least. It was so much fun. The staff were amazing. Everyone got into it. I mean, we didn't know that there was going to be a tropical night, so we didn't have anything tropical with us, but that didn't matter at all. It was just such good fun. On day 5, it was time for Flam. Flam? I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Again, I really don't want to offend anybody. And Flam was incredible. Honestly, it surpassed all of my expectations. This was the day that I was looking forward to the most, and it just blew us out of the water. It really did. There was nothing about the day that wasn't spectacular. From the waterfalls to the snow-topped mountains to the water itself, the weather, the staff, everything was amazing. We were so blown away. I will be doing a full video on Flam and each of the stops actually, as well as what I've learned as a first-time cruiser and my top 10 tips for first-time cruisers. The last stop was on day 6 and that was Kristiansand. And again, please correct me if I'm saying that incorrectly. Now, this was such a beautiful town. Again, the weather was amazing. It was so calm. I don't know if all the locals escaped because they knew the cruise ship was in, but it was so calm, so quiet, and just gorgeous. We stopped at the ice cream store right on the marina, and honestly, this was one of the best ice creams I've ever had in my life. They had so many toppings and they were delicious. Day 7 was another sea day. We spent the entire day at sea, looking around the ship at anything that we had missed. I also spent some time at the carousel lounge, doing a little performance. And I have to say that for a sea day, again, it didn't feel so packed that we couldn't do anything. I mean, we could sit at the bars we wanted to. There was always a seat where we needed it. And honestly, the vibe was just chill. For lunch, we did book Kato sushi, which was so good. I feel like I'm going to have to do another video on that as well. It was so delicious, but I was completely stuffed after 5 courses. The last meal that we had on board was in the dining room for dinner, and it was so much fun. The staff put on a really good show for us. Everyone joined it. Well, I didn't, but a lot of people did join in with the conga line, and it was just so much fun. They did some really good dancing, and we felt like it was such a good end to such a really amazing trip. We watched the final performance in the Grand Theatre, which was the Michael Jackson performance, and this was actually worth it. I'm going to be honest, not all of the performances were, but this really was, and I'm so glad they saved it for the last night. And that was it. That was my very first ever cruise, my very first ever cruise video, and I really hope you enjoyed watching. I will be making some more, so please do stay tuned, and you can subscribe and you'll know exactly what I do. Thanks, see you next time.